This is Lunchtime Politics, reaching you live from our global headquarters here in the nation's commercial nerve center, Lagos. I'm Jeffrey Uzama, bringing you up to speed with happenings in the polity and in politics at midday. Director General of the National Food, Drug Administration and Control, Professor Mojisola Adeyeye, says her life and some of the agency staff are at risk for just doing their jobs. The National Executive Committee of the All Progressives Congress APC passed a vote of confidence on President Bola Tinubu, endorsing him for a second term. And Trade Union Congress kick against eventually increasing value-added tax captured in the tax reform bills presently on the floor of the National Assembly. Well, it's been quite an eventful week in the polity and in politics. On one hand, there's an ongoing public hearing that has to do with the tax reform bill. On the other hand, eventually, after almost 2 years, the All Progressive Congress has now finally held its National Executive Committee meeting, which a lot of people have always called for. But let's get started with something that is of concern to every person and discerning individual in Nigeria, as far as people doing their jobs is concerned. And that has to do with a revelation by the Director General of the National Agency for Food, Drug Administration and Control, Professor Mojisola Adeyeye, is raising concern that there has been significant threat to the staff of the agency for enforcing regulations and combating fake drugs in the country. According to the DG, while briefing State House correspondent, she has been constantly had security around her just so that she will be safe. On the ongoing enforcement operation in the 3 open drug market, she had a few things to say that has to do with Onitsha, Aba and Lagos. The NASDAQ boss said the agency does not operate outside the mandate granted by the Establishment Act of the agency. Let's take a listen.
Of course, I've mentioned the hazards that we face every day. I told you about the attempted murder about 6 months ago. One of our staff in Kano, the child was kidnapped because the father was doing what he's supposed to do. Fortunately, the child escaped. So, for me, I have 2 police living in my house 24/7 in Abuja and Lagos. I would say I don't have life. I cannot go anywhere without police. To me, that is not my way of living. But I don't have a choice because we've got to save our country. We've got to save our country and not be fearful. But nonetheless, precautions are taken. I also use common sense. We are guided by our act. The C-34 Act gives us the mandate to enter anywhere that we suspect medicines or food being falsified. We did not just go and start breaking shops. The union marketers, the head of union of the market are always there. And we ask all marketers to come.
There's a responsibility on the government to actually protect her at all costs, because remember what happened to Dora Akunyili when her life was almost cut short by this. There's no way to describe them than just evil people who want to kill the system. This is some level of pharmaceutical terrorism, and they're doing their best to fight this cause, and all the state can do is to protect them. But away from what the DG of NAFDAC has said, let's bring you to some political conversation that happened in the last 2 days at the APC National Caucus and then the NEC meeting that held yesterday. The president has said he will not disappoint Nigerians, and those words, he said it at the NEC meeting, reaffirming his commitment to sustaining the successes recorded so far by his administration. He also pledged to the members of the National Executive Committee a few things about improving the state and the fortune of the country. The president also says he's grateful to all Nigerians for the recent electoral victories of the party, especially in Edo and Ondo State, and the latest defections into the party, especially at the National Assembly. He also got a vote of confidence at the NEC meeting yesterday.
Members of the All Progressives Congress gather for the first National Executive Committee meeting in the last 18 months.
To discuss very important.
Party leaders from the executive and legislative arms of government were in attendance. The meeting attracted serving and former governors of the party. However, former President Muhammadu Buhari, former Governor of Kaduna State, Mr. Nasir El-Rufai, and former Governor of Rivers State, Mr. Rotimi Amechi, were conspicuously absent. Setting the tone for the meeting, the national chairman outlined the agenda for deliberation with a key focus on the party's debt burden.
The current National Working Committee inherited debts and legal liabilities to the total tune of 8,987,874,663 naira. From all the cases outlined above, ranging from legal engagements during pre-election matters, election cases, and appeals for legislative, governorship, and presidential elections.
The meeting then moves to a closed-door session. In less than 2 hours, the meeting is open to the media to witness the vote of confidence in President Bola Tinubu.
To understand that what we have in our hands is trust from Nigerians. They trusted us and they voted for us. Therefore, we should continue to celebrate and pray to Almighty God to ensure that their expectations are not disappointed. It is therefore my humble pleasure to move a motion of implicit confidence on Mr. President for his courage, for his commitment, patriotism, performance, despite all challenges.
The leadership of the National Assembly agree with the governors and pledge to support the administration of President Tinubu.
Your strategic foresight and unwavering commitment have set Nigeria on a remarkable path to recovery, prosperity, and renewed national pride. The sacrifices made and the tough choices taken are now showing tangible benefits.
On the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, I can report to the NEC that our number is improving. We are growing and swelling by the day. Unfortunately, one of those who joined us from the lone party of the YPP, the distinguished Senator Ifeanyi Ubah, is no more. And we can only say, may his soul rest in perfect peace.
Reaffirming his commitment, a grateful President Tinubu vows not to let the nation down.
The rest of the world, the economy is unraveling here and there, both in Europe and America. We are seeing growth. We are seeing gradual return to prosperity.
Meanwhile, Governor Dapo Abiodun appealed to Nigerians to support the administration of President Tinubu.
Today, the party is walking tall. The party is confident, more confident than ever. More and more defections are being witnessed from other parties to APC in the National Assembly, House of Representatives, the Senate, and various houses of assemblies across the country.
The meeting concludes with a unanimous vote of confidence in the party's leadership.
So let's get to the conversation that has to do with the All Progressives Congress NEC meeting. It's been a conversation over the last 2 days. We're being joined on the program by the publicity secretary of the party in Rivers State, and also a chieftain of the APC, Mr. Darlington Uwauju. Mr. Darlington, thank you so much for coming on the program.
It's a pleasure having me again.
All right, Mr. Darlington, let me begin by asking whether your principal, Mr. Emeka Bekee, who is the chairman of the party, attended the NEC meeting, because I know that in Article 12 also of your party constitution, your party's constitution is supposed to be there. Was he there?
Well, unfortunately and sadly, he was not there because, like we've always argued, that when you decide not to play by the rules of our constitution, then it's akin to a man who decides to fetch ant-infested firewood to his home. You recall also the fact that on the 12th day of August 2024, a competent court sitting in Port Harcourt, presided over by Justice Sika Apirioku, did reinstate Chief Emeka Bekee and all other elected executives of our party at all levels in the state to their mandatory 4-year term. Now, also in the course of the brouhaha within the party in the state, we also had members of our party going to court, approaching a state high court to invalidate or to nullify or to stop or bar the National Working Committee of our party from conducting any further congresses in the state, because there is a pending executive known to law, and also those who are conducting that illegal exercise refused them the opportunity to obtain their forms which they paid for. Now, Justice Godswill Obomanu on the 20th of December 2024 nullified the congresses that purportedly produced Tony Okocha and his group. So basically, what transpired yesterday shows to all of us in the party in Rivers State that the National Working Committee under Alhaji Umaru Ganduje, His Excellency, is in no way ready to respect or obey the very clear, very lucid, very unambiguous judgment of court, even when they have gone ahead to the Court of Appeal to appeal this judgment of court. And the Court of Appeal has already fixed the 16th day of June for further hearing of this matter. So I presume that Emeka Bekee and the rest of the executives of the party have the right, under the law, under our jurisprudence, to enjoy the fruit, the benefit of the judgment of Justice Sika Apirioku. The NWC thought otherwise. So, and that is where we are.
So let's put it in plain English, all you have said. Emeka Bekee did not go to that meeting because he wasn't invited or because it's not statutorily. What exactly are you saying? I understand all the background you have laid.
Yes, I am saying statutorily, the chairman of the APC recognized by law is Chief Emeka Bekee. And so, because we have always kept by the rules of the game, because we have always respected the rule of law, because even when these shenanigans began on the 22nd of November in 2023, we did call to attention the fact that these were not according to the rules of our constitution. The constitution of our party is very clear, and even a secondary school people can easily go through this constitution and understand what the constitution has said. The fact that there are precepts upon precepts, what you must do if you want to discipline an erring, in quotes, member of your party, if you want to punish members of your party. And also, this same constitution clearly states the tenureship of elected executives of the party under Article 17. So what are the issues? The issues are simple. The fact that we have played by the rules, and he did not, in fact, go there because he was rightfully advised by members of the party not to cause the breach of the peace, because he has the right by the order of court to attend that meeting. And as far as he was not officially invited, he was advised against attending to avoid the breach of the peace, to show the world that we believe in the rule of law, and we will always go.
So apparently,
Mr.
Darlington,
members of the APC, we are founding members of the All Progressive Congress.
All right, Mr.
And so we do not believe that this causing an implosion of our own party, which we built, will be in the best interest of all of us.
All right. So at the end of the day, so we've always known this. So, but we wanted to see what will play out, because the NEC was a litmus test as to a lot of things that we're now seeing as far as the APC is concerned. So in Rivers State, we now clearly can see that there is a court-backed leadership and there is maybe NWC-backed leadership. But if we leave that for a moment, let's talk about one of the persons that was conspicuously absent. El-Rufai was mentioned, former President Muhammadu Buhari was also mentioned. And when El-Rufai was asked, he talked about notice coming in at short notice. I think same, if I get it correctly, same thing with former President Muhammadu Buhari. Do you have any idea, because I'm sure you're in talks with former Governor of Rivers State, Chibike Amechi, why didn't he attend the NEC meeting yesterday? Or the caucus? Mr. Darlington? Oh dear, apparently technology trying to play fast one on all of us, but we hope we can definitely get Mr. Darlington, can you hear me now? Okay, technology sometimes is not the silver bullet, but as soon as we can get him back, we'll get to ask those questions. I'm sure he has responses, because one of the leaders of the party that even contested in the primaries, I think he came second or so in that primaries in the last that brought in the candidate of the party, Rotimi Amechi. All right, Mr. Darlington, I understand we have you back. Can you hear me now?
Hello, can you hear me, sir?
Yes, did you hear my question before technology played the fast one? Mr. Darlington? Okay, we'll try and reestablish connection with you in just a moment, but let's bring more stories and we'll get back to that conversation as to why perhaps Chibike Amechi was not in that NEC or caucus meeting as is supposed to be. Okay, let's say caucus meeting essentially. Mr. Darlington?
I can hear you. Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, I wanted to find out from you, because at least I know that he should be able to attend the caucus meeting. El-Rufai, former governor of Kaduna State, former President Muhammadu Buhari, had given a complaint about time, but we haven't heard from Rotimi Amechi, which I'm sure you're quite close to. Do you have any idea why he didn't attend the NEC meeting?
I am trying to clarify to you. Okay. I said, number one, I got notice for this interview under 15 minutes ago, and that coincidentally, I had in fact chatted the former governor of Rivers State and former transportation minister this morning on other issues. If I had known that this interview would be coming up today by 12, I should have asked him, I should have put the question to him if he was invited, when he was invited, and also confirm his availability for the meeting. I should have done that, and he's open to always answer such questions.
Okay, so let's now go to
so I can provide those answers after this interview.
We will be more than glad. I'm going to follow up on that. We'll be more than glad to get a response, because at least from his end, he's a major member of the party, and not seeing him there.
Of course.
Because when Felix Moka yesterday was asked by my colleague Shen Okimbaloye about some of the people that were absent in that meeting, It says, in his words, it was a roll call of eminence of members who attended this meeting today. That was yesterday. And he talked about if Mr. Rufai wanted to be in the meeting, he could have come. So at least we have an excuse from that end. We don't know what's going on with Rotimi Amici as to why he didn't come. But let's talk about what happened in that meeting in itself. A vote of confidence cast on the president, a vote of confidence also being cast on the leadership of the party led by Abdullahi Ganduje. I would like your response to that.
Well, let me start with the second, which is a vote of confidence on Abdullahi Ganduje. You see, there is nobody aggregating opinion of party members in Rivers State. I can tell you for sure that it will be a difficult one for those who have labored with the party, those who are founding members of the All Progressive Congress in Rivers State, to acquiesce or agree or assent or endorse that a man who disobeys a court judgments should have a vote of confidence. But that said, when the party takes a decision, the beauty of democracy and democratic practices all over the world, and I believe that should be the same in Nigeria, is that the minority can always have their say, but the majority will have their way. If those who attended the meeting yesterday thought it wise that for the leadership or the way and manner that Alhaji Ganduje has managed the party in their own state, that is appropriate to endorse him to continue, well and good, and I have no issues with that. Now, coming to the issue of endorsing the president of the federation, recall that this party has a very clear manifesto, very elaborate constitution. Like I said before, that even a secondary school people can clearly understand the readings, the letters of our constitution. If the party under which President Tinubu was nominated and elected decides to endorse him, decides to pass a vote of confidence on him, decides to support him, these are normal, usual occurrences within political parties. These are things that happen every now and again. There is no mother that will give birth to a child and will decide to throw away that child. So within the precepts and the concepts of the All Progressive Congress today, as constituted, I will say to you that what happened yesterday was not out of place, because this is the APC. You are talking about the APC, and you are talking of a president produced on the platform of the APC. So that's my take on that.
All right, Mr. Darlington. So as we wind down, just a last question. Everybody has their own end of the stick. For you, under the national leadership of President Bola Tinubu, under the party leadership of the Abdullahi Ganduje, do you and Mr. Beke and the rest of you within this who are fighting literally for your life, do you feel ostracized by the party? And what's the plan going forward? In 1 minute.
Sorry, the line is... Hello?
Did you hear my question?
Hello, sir, can you come again with your question?
I was saying that the President Bola Tinubu is the leader of the party. And of course, the party as day to day is being run by Abdullahi Ganduje. With what you and Mr. Beke and the rest of you are going through, do you feel ostracized by the party? And what's the plan going forward? In 1 minute, we don't have much time anymore. Oh dear, what a day. Okay, I guess at this point we just want to thank Mr. Darlington Uwauju, is the publicity secretary of the All Progressives Congress in Rivers State. But let's also bring you up to speed with what is playing out on one of the rooms at the National Assembly where the House of Representatives has actually commenced public hearing on that tax reform bill. But there were two parts that were quite interesting to a lot of Nigerians. One is the rejection of the Trade Union Congress as to the subsequent increments in value-added tax, because the framers of the law and the drafters have said a lot of tax will be dropped that will necessarily affect small businesses and households, so they don't have to bother themselves, but it will be increased for other kinds of goods. And perhaps this is why the TUC is kicking. But also the concern raised by the Nigeria Customs Service, saying if the law is not properly annotated on, there's going to be a conflict of interest as to who collects what and what will be the job of the customs as against the new establishment of the Nigeria Revenue Service. Let's take a listen to those two gentlemen.
The TUC rejects the gradual increment of VAT from 7.5% to 15%. Our reason is simple. Increasing it will place additional burden on Nigerians, many of whom are already struggling.
The Nigerian Revenue Service Establishment Bill 2024, Section 1, it provides a legal framework for the administration of taxes and revenue under any law, where Section 42 defines tax. So this particular section subsumes everything that is provided under Section 3 and 4 of the NCS Act 2023. We should encourage collaboration, integration of operations between customs and the tax authority, not to abolish customs or not to repeal a law because we want to do another law.
All right, so those are the objections or observations being made by both the Trade Union Congress and the Nigeria Customs Service. The floor of that public hearing is still open, so if you're somewhere in Abuja, you can stop by if you're allowed to be part of that conversation, because it's a law that will change the landscape of taxation and how fiscal authorities are able to optimize operations in Nigeria as far as taxes are concerned. But we must thank you so much for your time and, of course, your usual company. I'm Jeffrey Uzongo. You've been served on Lunchtime Politics. Bye-bye.